Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. My name is Jerry, and I have the honor of being your host today. If this is your first time, we are delighted that you've chosen to join us today. With modern technology, we are extremely grateful for this opportunity to touch so many lives, especially through Zoom and Facebook. Please feel free to visit our website, cslcharlotte.org, put in a prayer request, and subscribe. We add our recordings to our website each week. The Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte is a new thought community living an ancient wisdom philosophy based on the science of mind. The science of mind philosophy was developed in the early 20th century by writer and lecturer Ernest Holmes. Dr. Holmes was a man on a mission. He studied truths from all the world's religions, religious traditions, and spiritual paths. Holmes developed a fresh new way for us to look at ourselves and how we fit into our world. At CSL Charlotte, every philosophy is honored along with every race, sexual orientation, and physical distinctions. This is a diverse, open, and affirming community. There are many paths to the divine. We can call it God, peace, love, or spirit. It doesn't matter what you call it. This is totally your decision. You don't have to leave your philosophy or nature of knowledge. You can join us anytime. We recognize and refer to many holy scriptures such as the Bible, the Quran, and Torah, just to name a few. Our vision statement is to continue a spiritual community creating and preparing a succession of future leaders who can fully integrate, teach, and expose the science of mind principles, messages, and practices that strengthen the mind, body, and spirit of individuals. One of our aims is to create a high collective consciousness for everyone in this community. We teach everyone the tools to do just that. So come and join us as we meet each Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So welcome everyone and enjoy our service as we celebrate this powerful being which lives within each and every one of us. So now I'll pass the mic over to our illustrious spiritual leader, Reverend Rosedale.
Well. Good afternoon, good evening, good whatever you are, especially the YouTubers out there in the YouTube land. And to all of us here this morning together, welcome. So I would like to let you know, first of all, that you're welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte, but we are the Mind, Body, Spirit Center. So this month, every single month I've been noticing that there's a bunch of cultures, and I love noticing everybody. But there's this month we're acknowledging and celebrating the Native American tribes, and they have a lot of contributions that they've made over the years. Well, way before we even got here. And it was just a wonderful thing I could imagine because they took care of the land. So spiritually, I love that culture. So with that being good and understood, let's know that we're celebrating them and celebrating Mother Earth at the same time. Okay, let us do that. So today is our attention is on developing emotional intelligence. So why not us start listening to develop our own emotional intelligence? So with that being said, we're going to start our Sunday celebration with an affirmative prayer. And so how do we do that? Why do we do that? We do it to set the tone. So leading us in prayer is my right-hand man, aka Alan Lilly, and he is the one that brings his A game, right? And he's going to come here and do that. So listen to Alan's prayer style, and you're going to hear that he's developing emotional intelligence like we all are. And you'll also feel he's developing it. So with that being said, if you practice, put in a prayer request if you would like to know how to develop your own emotional intelligence. Okay, Alan, let it rip.
All right. I invite everybody to just close their eyes and just breathe in the air and to allow us to connect with Father Sky and Mother Earth. We are all aspects of the divine. We are all part of that divine life, that divine nature, like Rosedale said. So we are all individualized, creative expressions of this divine nature, this divine life that is within each and every one of us. So as we cultivate an attitude of gratitude, as we make the time to meditate and to spend time with the divine life that is within each and every one of us, I know that we develop our own emotional intelligence. When there's a lot of chaos out in the world, when there's a lot of drama, family dramas, we can just close our eyes and take a deep breath and relax into that divine life that is the source of all of the infinite creation, that is the source of all creativity. And as we center ourselves in our spiritual power, we recognize that we are calm and we are peaceful and that we are powerful. And there is no need to get involved with all the other chaos and drama because we are leveling up beyond that. We are stepping forward as divine avenues, divine creativity of this divine life that is within each and every one of us. And we recognize interconnectedness with other beings, with nature, with animals, with each other, because we are all community, we are all a brotherhood of divine life that seeks to know itself through all of our individual experiences. And I'm grateful to be part of a community like this where we're all here to support each other, to love each other, and to grow and encourage each other. So, so as I take this breath out, I release out into this wonderful world of possibilities, of creativity, of the divine, that everything is coalescing together into a beautiful new creation that is life itself, creating itself. And so it is.
Hmm. And so it is. So, everybody out there in YouTube lands, especially, he mentioned he's releasing, and that's phenomenal. So, you're going to hear a little bit about release in the talk today. I'm just prepping you. So, don't leave your computer, YouTubers. I know anybody here try to leave, I'm going to strangle them. So, this group ain't in. But anyway, out there, pay attention. Developing emotional intelligence is powerful today. But remember, you got to put in that prayer request. So, now we got the reader. Now, on our platform next is our reader. Now, this person here, I want to, damn, she's, oh, up. She goes back 12 years with me, right? She goes back 12 or more years with me from California days. I'm just sitting here trying to think. I'm thinking in my mind, wow, so long. So anyway, we spent our Christmas, we spent my birthday together last weekend. But I think the last 12 years of my birthday I've spent with her. So that lets you know that on this platform are people that are really close to me. So Melissa and I covered a lot of ground in California, and her reading reflects and her life reflects that she's developing emotional intelligence like me. We were talking about our emotions over the weekend. So after Melissa's reading, listen to the song God Is by Karen Drucker. And knowing who God is and where it is the first step in developing emotional intelligence. So notice how you feel between listening to Melissa's reading and knowing who God is and where it lives in you. And I keep pointing at me when I say you because you and me are one. So with that being said, let's get started. Melissa, let it be. Do it.
All right. Thank you so much, Reverend Rosedale. Yeah, this morning's message is going to be on cultivating emotional intelligence through spiritual practices. So, our reading this morning is on Cultivating Emotional Intelligence by Reverend Rosedale Jones. Emotional intelligence is a set of skills supposed to provide realistic feedback for expression of emotion in ourselves and our response to emotions in other people. We develop emotional intelligence in spiritual practices. It includes the effective regulation of emotions in ourselves and others, and the use of feelings to motivate, plan, and achieve in our life. In simple terms, emotional intelligence involves three key skills. Number one, recognizing emotions. knowing what we're feeling and noticing what others are feeling too. Number 2, managing emotions. Handling our own emotions in a healthy way and responding to other people's feelings appropriately. And number 3, using emotions positively. Using our feelings to stay motivated, plan well, and move toward what we want to achieve. Emotional intelligence is about understanding and working with emotions in ourselves and others. In spiritual practices, we build emotional intelligence, which helps us connect more deeply, make thoughtful choices, and stay motivated to reach our goals. Building emotional intelligence from our spiritual practices not only enriches our personal growth, but also enhances our relationships and overall well being. By developing these skills, we create a harmonious balance between our mind, our body, and spirit, leading to a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Responding to others appropriately means choosing how to react, especially when you're not treated fairly or respectfully. The goal isn't to please others, but to find peace within yourself. Learning to recognize our own feelings and understand the emotions of others helps us communicate better and build stronger, more meaningful relationships. When we build these skills, we become better at relating to others, making wise decisions and staying focused on our path. And here's a quote by Reverend Rosedale: handle other people's emotions as long as yours are being considered in the process. If they aren't, then you have a decision to make, and so it is.
Truth be told, like she said, all these things I am, God is. But let's start with a short centering real quick and relax your eyes. And as you do, either look in your lap or close them if you like, but it's all your choice. And then breathe in really, really deeply. The breath is a force of life. It's inspiration. Inspiration, if you look at that word, it says spirit inside that word. Spirit's what you're breathing in. And then when you exhale, feel the peace inside your body. Love that song because that's how we relate to who we are. Because all these things God is, see, God has a lot of qualities. And in these qualities, you can call it love, you can call it source energy, you can call it intelligence, because that's really what it is as well, or any good or positive or awesome pronoun that resonates within you or me. And see, whatever it takes to mix inside of you, inside your spirit, is what you can call God. And so Karen Drucker, she sings God is, and she said God is life. She is life. She said that God is love, and she is love. She said God is joy and peace, and she says she's all of that. Well, those are affirmations that we have to say so we can convince, change our minds. You'll see in a minute what I mean by that. So knowing who God is and that it's in you is the first step in developing emotional intelligence. See, that makes this song so powerful, and it's a perfect segue into developing emotional intelligence. So, do you know who God is and what and where or whatever it is yet? Because if you are aware of where God is, you are fully ready to actually process your own emotional intelligence. Right. So if you practice long enough, you are ready and you are already on the path to developing emotional intelligence. And as you know, you're always going to be at choice whether you choose to use your spiritual practices to feel that presence within you. And if you practice, it's time to start developing your emotional intelligence, because knowing who God is and that it is in you is what we got to do. So let's wiggle those fingers and those toes and start to integrate our mind, body, and spirit. And as you float your eyes back open to paying attention back, look around your space as though you're new to it. And exhale out one good more time as you take this moment to look around and feel you. While I take a gratitude moment with our awesome and fabulous platform prayer. Platform peeps. So with that being said, Groovy G, Jerry Campbell. That is Groovy G, y'all. She's our MC, mistress of ceremony for today, and I love her voice. It just knocks down, drags out. You got to hear her. You got to listen. So thank you, Alan, for serving us so powerfully in prayer today. I'm not going to forget what's in here. And thank you, Melissa, for the reading that cultivating emotional intelligence through spiritual practices. That's powerful. And that's how we connect that mind, body, and spirit. There's three pieces of us. And so that whole reading really is going to speak volumes to this talk, which is developing emotional intelligence. So on that note, emotional intelligence, like the first sentence that Melissa read, emotional intelligence is a set of skills. That's all it is. But before we became aware of our emotions, we just reacted, we just responded in so many ways, and we kind of harmed ourselves, maybe even harmed some of our relationships for not understanding. See, what it is these emotions that the emotional intelligence helps us to learn and train our emotions in here, in ourselves, and watching it in others and seeing how you're going to respond appropriately to others, right? So we develop these skills in spiritual practices, and that is the key. Spiritual practices is key to developing emotional intelligence. So basically what happens is affirmative prayer, you got to know, affirmative prayer is one of the many spiritual practices that we indulge in, because I'm going back a little bit to Alan's prayer when he said release. Just remember that, okay? So the affirmative prayer shifts your mind. So by the end of the day, you're already focused on a new desire because you released that other problem you had when you did that prayer. But let's keep going. See, in spiritual practices, you actually practice in a way that you're going to be getting insights. So as you get these insights and knowings and seeing the different things that you're causing in your own body, you're starting to see, I'm developing emotional intelligence. You see, when we are grounded from an affirmative prayer in a calm and a way in faith, and we also have this truth and this faith and this knowledge and this understanding that that prayer was already answered, because why? You release it. Alan released it up high to let it go, so I don't have to think no more. I already said all these things, so boom, stop it. So naturally, he moves, or we move right into a space of trust, because we know after you get to that fifth step where you release that prayer, it's over. Whatever that problem, whatever that thing you prayed about, you release all emotional worry for it, with it, whatever it is. Therefore, if there's anything about it all, is you got to be authentic when you're praying, meaning that you're not just spiritually bypassing, just using words just because they sound good. You're using words because they're authentic to you, and you know beyond the shadow of a doubt that your problem that you prayed about is gone. And here's the thing. You will barely remember your prayer, your problem that you spoke about in that prayer, if you release it with what? With trust. You can release it all you want. You can say all the beautiful flowery words. I tell Groovy that a lot. People say all these beautiful flowery words, but is it authentic, and do you believe what you're saying? So when you're calm and you're in the knowledge that what you pray for and release, you are then developing emotional intelligence, especially if it's something that makes you worry. So, is that clear as mud yet? Well, let me think in the mud a little bit more here. Maybe here, a year from now, you'll see the solution to that problem. And then you're going to realize, I prayed for that 4 or 5 years ago, last year. Just because you make that prayer in 2024, it may not happen till 4 more years from now. Just because you made that prayer, I made tons of them. I'm seeing them. They don't have to be, they're not one and done. They don't, just release it. When you finally release it, but see, you can release it, you can say it as much as you want. But if you don't feel the release, you got to keep saying it. So it's not a one and done. Okay? So just remember that too. So that's why one of our major, major spiritual practices right here is that affirmative prayer, because there's 5 steps to it. But that 5th step sets you off. And that is the heart of developing emotional intelligence. So let me tell you something else about emotions. They're always going to be a part of the process. You can't duck them. You can't hide from them. You can't say that, well, I know that it's, stop lying to yourself. I constantly experience moments. I'm laughing at myself. I have to. I constantly experience moments of emotional intelligence because let me tell you something. At first, I used to think it was a destination, but oh no, was I so wrong? It's a journey, not a destination. That's the thing. We got to recognize. So we got to keep practicing. We got to keep living. We got to keep growing because the work is never, never truly done. It's not a one and done. Too many of us think it's a one and done. No. And listen, I'm a big science nerd. So research shows that emotional intelligence is the key to mental health and for personal growth. Once we get that figured out, that's when we start to realize that life is working for me here. See, here's the thing what research says. People with high emotional intelligence, they have a more fulfilling relationships. It's true. Look at me with all these relationships I have with all these people. You see them all, we're still in the same love thing that we were in. We're in a love fest, right? But then look at this. There's less stress. Now, I didn't say no stress. I just said less. And then you can handle your stress better. And then what is the biggest thing is they don't, a lot of times things will take you off your purpose when you got something else to do. But if you can start to really get into this emotional intelligence skills, you're going to begin to keep that sense of purpose first and let the emotions hit you. Bam, bam. Yes, you will get hit, but you have to get up. Right? So sometimes, you got to realize that we have to remember, I'm on the floor. I got to get up. Because if I can look up, I can certainly get up. See, because here's the thing. Studies also reveal that people who manage their emotions effectively, and just because you get stuck in them, don't think you're not managing them. Because if you're stuck in them and you know it's your emotions, you're not stuck. You know that you got to fix them and you got work to do, right? So every experience that you have brings you much more higher life satisfaction when you begin to realize that, I'm starting to get nervous. I'm worried. Oh, this might not happen that way. Oh no. Then you'll be starting to tell yourself, you know what? Those are my emotions ticking at me. Start to look at it. Start to recognize, hey, let me get out of this. These are where I'm getting a lot of conflicts. I got to check. Because then you'll be fostering this sense that you have of belonging. You'll be getting this strength. You'll be getting this confidence. It takes a minute. Like I was telling Ruby earlier, listen, I remember days back in the 90s when I started practicing. I said, am I ever going to get past this? You see, developing emotional intelligence creates a foundation for a supportive, resilient, look at us, Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte, a resilient community Mo just said it this morning. Oh, I love these people. Silly, crazy people. Because this is a community that enhances both our individual, Alan said it in his prayer, and our collective well being. That's what we do. That's how we personally establish our own personal and the whole collective growth within this community. So, emotional intelligence drives us to recognize and express our feelings. And we express our feelings how? Accurately. See, we learn when we're doing these spiritual practices and we're working together in the consciousness meeting on Tuesdays, we learn how to identify our own emotions and understand how other people feel, especially the ones we care about. So this way, when you start thinking about who you care about, who cares about you, that's the only place you need to go. You don't need to deal with this difficult people. I couldn't say the word. You don't need to deal with difficult people. This helps us communicate more and keep us effective in building our own relationships and making them stronger. But the most important relationship is the one with yourself, then the one with the people you care about, because now you both know. Because, see, in essence, emotional intelligence helps us to regulate our emotions, to respond appropriately to those we care about, and to handle our own stressful challenges. You don't stop having challenges. You don't stop having arguments, but you gotta make sure that you have a calm and balanced approach to your own relationship with you and you. Then you can have the relationship with you and me. See, developing emotional intelligence is crucial because it helps us to connect with ourselves. And like I keep saying, I gotta say it again, and other people. You know, people make the world go round. We have to understand we gotta deal with people. So when we practice emotional intelligence, those beautiful, it's a bunch of skills to that. I'm going to teach that in the class eventually, you'll see. But what happens is everybody gets to know themselves if they keep after it. But if you don't want to know yourself, then you don't have to keep at it. Because you know what? As long as as you can practice this beautiful emotional intelligence, as long as you and the person knows what you're doing. Oh my God, that's important. Because if you're going from a person that you used to know to a person that you know now, and then now you're saying to yourself, that 20-year-old girl back there that I used to be is now another age girl, so I'm different. I got to know that you know that I do. You got to know that I know what you do. It's just like that. So when everybody is practicing emotional intelligence, it's okay as long as that person understands that's what you're doing, because absence any understanding leads to misunderstandings and the relationship starts to, like I say, slap rocks. You know the song Neil Diamond or whatever, Love on the Rocks. It's no big surprise. Well, if you don't watch it, you see, I always joke, go back to music, Alan. I'm a music fan. What can I tell you? Everything says sing it, Rosedale. You can't sing it, it ain't real. But anyway, emotional intelligence also helps me to make these wonderful and thoughtful decisions. And I've got to use me an example because I can't use you. I don't tell you how to do. I only tell me. And so we got to stay track. We got to watch our goals. And all we have to do is start reflecting on our emotions, and then we dealing with them. So why is emotional intelligence so important, right? Why is it important even in spiritual practices? You know, if you heard from, this is real important. If you heard Melissa's reading and you heard the quote I wrote, you would hear what she said. This is important. Handle other people's emotions as long as yours are being considered in the process. If they aren't, you have a decision to make, not them. See, my transformation from using emotional intelligence over the years has been interesting. When I look back, when I look back 20 years ago, I see this version of myself that was just trying to survive. And I was a people pleaser. Who said that? I think you, Alan, said that. I was a people pleaser. I was conditioned to care for other people at my own expense. You know. Then I found out it's easier back in the day to blame other things then so that it takes the look off me. Now you're looking over there. So now I'm blaming other people. But you know what? Those reactions hurt me big time because what I ended up doing was building this persona. And this persona was a person who was caught up in victimhood back then. You know what I mean? See, I learned that emotional wounds, they lead to things. And I said, well, we got to stop this. They lead to things like high blood pressure. They lead to things like digestive disorders. How about unwanted illnesses in general? Everything you think you do is a response to your body. But once you start to remember, it's because of the emotions, the way you hold it, how strong you are around those emotions. See, you know I'm emotional because that's how I always act and talk. That's me. But I used to use the knowledge that I was learning to help me to evolve my overall health. Because you see, what's going on is that even to this day, I will never be done 100%. I will always be on the next step. And as soon as I get to the top there, where something is, there's no more space, then the universe is going to come up behind me with another floor to step on. Because like Timmy P always says, up level. I'm going to go up there and I'm going to keep moving. But every time I step my foot up, it may look like there's nothing down there. But you know what I'm going to be doing? Knowing that there's a floor coming up right to grab me. I am not going to get that. That's how I get my peace of mind. That's how I realize that my quality of life has increased tremendously just by trusting that life ain't just happening. It happens justly. Did you hear me? Life don't just happens, it happens justly. See, a lot of people think that physical ailments in the body is solely due because you're getting older. But that's not altogether true. Emotional tension and painful feelings, they lead to these illnesses and they're significant contributors to what? Suicide. People say, well, you know, so-and-so, wow, I didn't know they had all this. But we never know. See, but this is the thing. People make the world go round. And I started surrounding myself with people that respect me, and I mutually respect them. Then I started surrounding myself with people who really can let things go, not be so, let it go. And because if I didn't let it go, man, shoot, I would have reached the breaking point a long time ago. I had to let that victim that I was go. And then when I woke up to the truth that my health was more important than anything or anyone in the world, I came to work more fiercely on myself. See, I work on my emotions daily, but I work on them more fiercely than ever before. And notwithstanding all that stuff I said, just remember this. Again, I said it before, people make the world go round. So choose better people for your peace. I was playing the song last week, another song, Stylistics. People make the world, but they're not just singing to me. They're making sense and they're touching my heart because I'm saying, you gotta have people. Science says it. Research says that people that are tied with people, their longevity, you live longer. You can't say, oh man, that hurt me, so I'm not being, you are the one that's losing. So my latest affirmation this week was people make the world go round. I can't stop thinking that, right? But also, here's another thing. It takes every kind of people to make the world go round, right? So and also it takes every kind of people to make relationship fun. So let me just wrap this up and say, I love making the decision to do the things that I'm about to tell you. Without having people around you that are good and good with you, there's no win-win. You have to have people that you got to have an idea that I know this person will probably do this or these people will probably do this and you're comfortable. See, I love the phrase that's going to come up in this next song. The fight to make ends meet keeps a man up on his feet. I'm just giving you a little bit, so listen to this. Stay woke. People keep us on our toes. Choose your people wisely. So it takes every kind of people to know what life's about. So stop being attracted to the people that you know will hurt you, because genuine happiness comes from treating both myself and others with respect and courtesy. So don't forget that as you listen to the song, Every Kind of People. John's my right hand man, boy. He knows how I am about my music, boy. And you know, if we don't listen to music, then find a way to recognize all this stuff. You know, I use that because that's the easy in the car. That's easy when I'm cleaning. It's easy to just listen. You know what I mean? So as you know that some songs inspire your happiness, remember this. They invoke love too for other, for humanity. This song powerfully represents how to accept people, to listen to your own insights, and then choose them, but also love them fiercely if they're you and them understand that. So, with that greatness said, let me ask you this question, can you accept the fact that it takes every kind of people to make your life fun? Because it does. But they got to be, like I said, mutual, right? Even if they're difficult, but it's mutual. So if you're on the way to developing this emotional intelligence, then you know that it takes every kind of people. Horace the Bush. We both New Yorkers. Horace and I go back, oh man, Horace, 20 years or more. And when I think about Horace and how he and I are so frank with one another, the way he sat there and talked about the consciousness meeting today, to me, just like, bam, if I didn't know nothing else, I know what the consciousness meeting is all about. Thank you, Horace. That's what I call him, Horace the Bush. So anyway, with that saying, this time it is time to talk about birthdays. How could I not know that? Oh my God, you know how much I love birthdays, above all mine, right? So this is the time we talk about birthdays, and I'm gonna always do it forever and ever until people start saying, all right, go ahead, say my birthday in the spiritual realm if you like. And I will. So it's the thing though, I don't know your birthday, but I just know mine is next Thursday. But you need to put it in that chat. And you'll get a chance to get your birthday spoken about. Listen, that's the day we came to be. We came to be. Listen to this. Our ancestors got us here, generation after generation, because they knew we were going to do this thing better than they did. Come on now. That's the day we came to be. And I heard that so much between my grandmother and my mother. I want you better than me. And that said a lot to me. And then I went beyond them and I started thinking of ancestors. So listen, this is your birthday, honor it. That's all I'm going to say. And this is my birthday and I'm honoring it. So with that being said, big gratitude shout outs to all of our platform team, because this can't be a one woman show. It's not a one man show, because it never will be a man when I'm the leader. Oh, Alan, you need to stop being bad over there. But actually, here's the deal. Thank you, Groovy. You're so fabulous. You are our mistress of ceremony. You're my friend. Groovy goes back with me way back in the early 2000s, where we were in San Diego. And how we found each other, I have no idea how she knew that we would be here. Don't know. All I don't care, because we're here. That's all. So thanks, Groovy G. And she is our spiritual steward harmony. And she definitely makes sure that everything stays clean in the background, because that's who she is. And opening our closing prayer was Alan. Alan and Horace and I go way back, 20 years or so. So he's my right-hand man. I trust him with my life. So, it's all really, really good. We trust each other with our lives. See, there's every kind of people. You know what I mean? So thank you, Melissa, too, the other one, for thinking about us all the time, for always making sure you want to get that reading. She loves to do readings. As you can see how lit up her eyes get when she's reading. You can get it. I believe her. When I believe you. So anyway, she also, thank you, Melissa, for spotlighting us and to making sure that, boom. And then, yes, that was really cool. And then who's here that I miss so much? My Timmy P. Timmy P, his presence, he's always watching over us, making sure everything's going. We call him the pilot because he brings us back to a safe landing. And when I know he's there, I got all the confidence in the world. I'm like, oh, Timmy P got this. If I think we're making a mistake, Timmy P got us. You know what I mean? So it's all good. And then we got the emails that go out of here. Remember, I always say, if you don't put in a prayer request, then you can't get a prayer from Mo in your inbox. Mo puts the mails in your email. And of course, Horace already told you that she's Maureen Thurston, but she's Mo to us. She's our Mo. And so thank you, Mo, for putting in those prayer requests and chomping at the bits and waiting out there for it. So with that being said, we know we are all grounded all the way. That's our platform. So now I want you to consider this. Today we were talking about developing emotional intelligence. So remember that during this entire week, wait, I'm supposed to be developing emotional intelligence because you know what? Demotion, okay? Developing emotional intelligence actually grooms us to our perfect transformations every single time. I love transforming. I love changing because you got to in order to level up, right? Alan got me back on it. Timmy P started us off on it. So I like it. So if you want something new to do this week, do me a favor, start developing emotional intelligence where you really paying attention to what's going on in here. Really, don't make decisions unless you ask, hey, where did that come from? Why'd you make that? Just Groovy's thing is this. If you're stuck on something, Groovy will say, just do it. What are you talking about? And I love her for that because she'll tell you in a minute. So acknowledge your feelings because when you start acknowledging your feelings, you are developing emotional intelligence. So acknowledge your power within you. And no matter how many people you're around, choose the ones who love and respect you and the ones you love and respect. And then you're developing emotional intelligence. So before Groovy pays us out, before she prays us out, think about this song because it's all about developing this emotional intelligence, and you got to start with a special feeling, this self-love. It's all about that. See, remember that relationship with you is first, but it's the greatest feeling of all if you can really understand what it means to love yourself. So with that being said, let's hear that song, The Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston. Is the greatest love of all. I'm sorry, I could not stop that one, y'all. So anyway, that's one way to bring people in your life, loving yourself, because when you love you, the vibes go out there because you're happy. I mean, everywhere I go, everybody I'm with, when I go to the different groups, I have private clients, I have group clients, I have it all. But do you know there's a love connection in each one of my groups because I've built it. Because that's what I want in all of that. It's respect and it's love. So remember that. That's the greatest love of all is to love yourself, and everybody attracts to you just nicely. So with all that being said, I need to calm it down. Alan does this to me because he knows I'm so emotional. He goes, he knows me. So, all right. So with that being said, after oh yes, I love you, Alan. You are the man. You hear me? So anyway, let's Alan pray us out.
Wow, what an awesome service today. So I know that right here, right now, that the greatest love of all is infinite spirit. And it lives within each and every one of us. And as Rosedale said, we are here to recognize the greatest love of all, which is infinite love, lives within each and every one of us. So we spend the time this week to get in that relationship with that infinite love that resides within us, to find the joy, the peace, the life that we desire. So I'm knowing that this week everybody is filled with purpose, with passion, and with love for everybody that surrounds us, all of our coworkers, all of our friends down at the gym, or our neighbors in the neighborhood. We are all here to radiate the love out into the world. So I'm grateful to be part of a community like this that reminds us that the greatest love of all is within each and every one of us. And I give this love out into the world, knowing that it reflects back onto us in the cycle of giving and receiving. And so it is. And have a wonderful week, everybody.
All righty, all righty, all righty, all righty, all righty. Yes, everybody, we are ready to wrap it all the way up. Are we done, Alan? Okay. Alan tells me when it's all good because he knows I'm out there. He says, I know you're going, Rosedale. I got you. So anyway, guys, this is to close it all up. Just know that as we wrap up our time together, just notice that this week, if you're developing emotional intelligence, just notice that. Just see how you're thinking. See how you're feeling. Just say, oh, am I developing? When you see something good that you've done or did something differently the way you usually see a transformation in yourself, really look for that. Because remember, all you need is some good spiritual practices, and you could always ask us, ask me, or whatever, because that's how we begin to develop real strong emotional intelligence. So remember, the universe is constantly supporting us on our journey, supporting you on your journey. So let it do that. Until next time, when we meet again, develop some emotional intelligence this week. Okay, how about developing emotional intelligence this week? Will that work? Okay, guys, have a good one.